If you recognize the harmonica of George Harmonica Smith, you're listening to Why the Blues with your cousin Dave. Got an exciting show coming for you today, and I think you're going to like it. You're going to hear some from the new Rolling Stones album, Blue and Lonesome, and a few surprises here and there. This is such a good track from Aesthetic Stomp from George Harmonica Smith. I Hate to Let It Go. But let it go I will, because we got some other music to explore today. And I hope you're doing well. I am. It's Tuesday, the 6th of December. My gosh, where's this year gone, folks? That's amazing how quickly time passes. And you get to be my age, which I'm not ancient, but I'm working on that. Quite frankly, it passes even quicker. But anyway, welcome to Why the Blues. I'm your cousin Dave. This is a KBLP show, some of the finest podcasting around, and I'm glad you're joining us. And we're going to I like to start out the mornings gentle. That's when I'm doing this live. And of course, if you're listening to it later in the day, it may not be as important to you, but I don't like to jar people early in the morning. And I like to start off a lot of times with some country blues. And we're going to start off with a lady that has a fascinating story. Her name is Elizabeth Cotten. She was actually born in 1893 in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. She learned to play a guitar. She was a left-handy, a southpaw, and she learned to play a right-handed guitar. And she would pick with her right hand and play. Her right hand fingers, and he played a melody with. She played a bass with her fingers and played a melody with her thumb, and she would play for her church. Well, Elizabeth eventually married Frank Cotten, and they moved all around, had some daughters, and eventually ended up in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, their marriage did not last, and Elizabeth ended up becoming a maid. And eventually she found herself working for Charles and Ruth Seeger, whose son was Mike Seeger. And if you're familiar with that name, he is the half-brother of Pete Seeger, the famous folk artist who passed away just a short time ago. Anyway, Elizabeth had not played the guitar for years, and she started picking it up. And Mike was fascinated. As a matter of fact, her style of playing, a style she actually developed, was called cotton picking. And he started recording her in the 1950s. And you're going to hear an instrumental by Elizabeth called Vastapool. And I think you're going to like this tune. It's lovely. Let me know what you think. If you do, you're welcome to give me your comments, and I hope you will like this page. Here we go. Once again, that is Elizabeth Cotten, a southpaw who learned to play the guitar. She taught herself, and she played the bass with her fingers and the melody with her thumb. And she was born in 1893, and she would leave us in 1987. And we are blessed to have her recordings. You know, she was just awesome. And thank Mike Seeger for having the foresight to record her. And she would eventually record for labels and all, but once again, we're very, very blessed to have her music. Now, we want to keep with this type of sound, and we're actually going to keep with another native from North Carolina, or natives, I should say, the Carolina Chocolate Drops. And they're from where Elizabeth was from Chapel Hill. They originated from Durham, North Carolina, which is part of that triangle in North Carolina, the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area. And if you want to go to hear some good music, they have a lot of great bands playing down there. But what we're going to hear next is a group called, like I said, the Carolina Chocolate Drops. They have changed members through the years, but Rhiannon Gibbons is the lead singer a lot of times. She's the only lady in the band, and she plays guitar. Hubby Jenkins, Rowan Corbett, and Malcolm, oh my gosh, Parsons. Sometimes my own handwriting scares me. I don't know about you. If you saw mine, you'd say, this man should be a doctor. But no, didn't have that type of skills. I do have the handwriting, though. But anyway, these guys put out their first album in 2005, and it's called Genuine Negro Jig. And they play old-timey blues, just like what you heard with Elizabeth. So I figured this would complement this. And they actually, in 2010, actually that was when their first album came out. They started in 2005. They won a Grammy for the best traditional folk album. So let's listen to the Carolina Chocolate Drops. And last week I played this tune, and I didn't have a chance to look up the artist who did this, but love this tune, and you'll recognize it if you remember last week's show. This is Why Don't You Do Right by the Carolina Chocolate Drops.
Get out of here and get me some money too. You're sitting down wondering what it's all about. You ain't got no money that will put you out. Why don't you do right like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too. If you had prepared 20 years ago, you wouldn't be wandering now from door to door. Why don't you do right like some other men, like some other men do? Get out of here and get me some money too. I said, get out of here, get me some money too. I said, get out of here and get me some money too.
That's the Carolina Chocolate Drops with Why Don't You Do Right with Rhiannon Gibbons on vocals and guitar. And if you heard the little clicking in the background for rhythm, that is actually bones. They used to, back in the day, they would get a couple little bones and clack them together, and that was your rhythm. It's, hey, you use what you could, your resources, and I just think these guys are awesome. I've never seen them in person, but that's one of my bucket list goals to see these guys. You know, love hearing